Well, hello. How are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. For anybody that's new, my name is Marty Pants. You can call me Marty, and this is my channel, Beyond Trans. I usually do live streams only lately on Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific time, but every once in a while I throw up a video. So I'm going to do a video on one of those cliche topics. He didn't know I was trans, but this is one that I just remembered, and it was about after I had SRS and I actually was dating somebody. So stick around for that. If you're new, like I said, my name's Marty. I'm a woman of a teen transgender transsexual experience. I'm 59 years old. Yeah, with a lot of work. And I'll pop up a card right about there that will lead you to one of my stories about how I transitioned back in the 70s and how I made it. It is a lot better today. There's still suffering out there, but suffering is optional today. I always say that because there is the Trevor Project if you're 26 or under down below. If you look in the video description down there, they'll help you with name change, counseling, a whole bunch of stuff. And there's also toll-free numbers for the suicide hotlines. If you're feeling funky, give them a call. Because when I was a kid and you would call a suicide hotline and you told them that you're trans, or the word didn't even exist, they would actually probably throw you in a mental hospital. So there is stuff you can do today. Please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really great. That would be so far out. Join the Cyber Vibe tribe and give cyber hugs, or get some cyber hugs on Sundays. I always do live streams on Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific time with really great guests. Did you get enough? Did you get enough? There. So I'm going to talk about when I, just after I had my SRS, I was in my early 30s, and I lived pre-op, or I said non-op back then, because, well, I really couldn't afford it. And so I was like, what's between your ears? Not between your legs, and all that stuff, you know. And that's true. It is true. But I know for me, I was just saying that because here I am playing with my hair again. People do videos about that. Anyways, but it was true for me. I had to say that to myself, or else I wouldn't have been able to handle living, you know. So anyways, this is all about a love story. It started out like a beautiful love story. I just got my SRS. It was in the 90s. Terry Mugler and all that fantastic far out stuff was happening. Fashion and whatnot. And I quit my job working at, well, I didn't quit. I took a leave of absence working in mental health and addictions, and as a social worker, community social worker in Vancouver, Canada, because well, it's just hard. It's hard to work in that stuff because there's so much suffering, right? And I'd already been in it for about 5 years. So anyways, a friend of mine was opening up, was one of the people that was opening up Eaton's. It's kind of like a Nordstrom's in Canada, or it was. Eaton's doesn't even exist now, but so I went and got a job. I thought, oh, I'll work in retail. I'd like to say I worked at Chanel, and sometimes I lie and say I did back then because I didn't want to say that I worked in men's shoes. But they wanted me to work in women's shoes, this manager, because he thought I could sell a lot. But I wanted to work in men's shoes because, you know why? You know why? To meet men. It's like I had just got my hoo-ha. It was like a couple years old, if that. And I was raring to go. I was raring to get married, and you know, I was looking. I was hunting for a husband. So no shame. I was very open with that. That's what I wanted. And I also wanted to have that experience, you know, as a woman with a vajayjay, right? So anyways, I'm working in this, the men's section of Eaton's, and I was doing some, I was also doing some styling. What do you call it? When you're a stylist, and they pay you to like run around the store and find things for them and everything like that. So that was fun too. So, and because I've been in the business, if you know what I mean, way before, well, not way before, it was only like about 6 years since I'd left the whole adult business industry, if you let's put it that way. But then I got clean and sober in 91 and went back to school and started work and was being like a good girl because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle doing other stuff. I had friends that still do it and they're fine type of thing, but I couldn't. Too many horrible things happened to me, and you can look at my videos to find those, some of those stories. So I ended up working in Eaton's downstairs, and I actually was within the first couple months had become the best. What was it? They always had like awards and stuff, and it's like I always won the awards for selling the most high-end products to men, and it's like, I wonder where that came from, you know. But they are transferable skills, as I was told, in employment skills for women when I got out of the hoe business and, you know, running escort hoe businesses and all that stuff too. And I was going, oh my God, what can I do? I never done anything. And they were going, are you kidding? You ran a business, you did all this stuff, you got the brains, you know how to do that. So they are transferable skills, and that, unbeknownst to me, because I was so full of shame and guilt about all that stuff. But anyways, I was being a really good shoe hoe, and I was able to sell like really high-end shoes to these guys and whatnot. And then one day, oh my goodness, this big, huge, tall, handsome guy in like total like Brooks Brothers today, I guess would be called, like really nice suits and a suit and stuff. And his name, let's call him Simon. Actually, that was his name, but I haven't seen him so long, so I don't know. So Simon, if you're there, hi, honey. So anyways, Simon, I didn't know that was his name, but this guy came up and was looking for some shoes, and we talked it up and we got it along famously. You know how you really click with somebody, and I think he bought like 3 pairs of shoes from me or something. And so at the till, after I finished, oh, here's my little kitty cat. After he finished, he was buying the shoes. He gave me his card, and he says, I know this is really inappropriate and stuff, but he says, I find you very attractive and really nice, and I'd love to take you out for coffee. So I was like, you know, cool, calm, collective. I went, well, I'll think about it, you know. And then I went in the back with, you know, one of my girlfriends. Actually, it was a gay guy, but, you know, girlfriend. And then I was like, oh my God, it's like, look at this. And I looked at his card, and he was, it looked like he was working with, I'll say it, Tony Robbins. He was working with Tony Robbins. He wasn't Tony Robbins, but he was somebody that was working with him at the time in Canada. So, oh my God, there's a person that did a video about me touching my hair, and they're so right. It was so nice to play with. It's been my armor my whole life. Okay, I digress. So anyways, he gave me his card, and I was so excited, and I showed my friend in the back. And Cliff, if you're out there watching, hi Cliff, gorgeous, gorgeous gay guy that I was friends with in Eaton's. He showed me the ropes of retail, and oh my God, anybody that works in retail, I bow to you, because I only lasted about 7 months in, if that, in Eaton's, and three of those months was as they were putting it together again, like they were rebooting Eaton's. So it's much harder than any type of social service, healthcare, whatever, because, you know, these crazy people have money. You know, at least the people that I worked with were like caught and they were put away and medicated. So my hat's off to you, to anybody that works in retail. Okay, back to the story. So anyways, so I had this card for Simon, and I just remembered the story yesterday, right? Because I used to say, oh my God, it's like all of these, like, you know, he didn't know I was trans stories and everything like that. Oh my God, type of thing. And I finally remembered that I had one, and I posted it as one of my most popular videos. my first one that I did, but that was when I was pre-op, right? And that actually turned into an amazing love story. So anyways, this one I completely forgot also that that I never told him from the start. And I've always said on this channel, always tell them that you're trans. Always tell them that you're trans right from the beginning. And saying that I've always done that, I've always done that. And then I realized, oh my God, I didn't do that, because this Simon didn't know. I ended up going out for coffee with him. It turned into, he was completely entranced with me, and why wouldn't he? But I was shivering in my boots. I was sober. I couldn't drink. I was like just learning how to still stay sober. Maybe it was about 5 years or something. I don't know. No, actually, that's when I was coming back. I think I was only about a year again, because I had a bunch of years, and then I went out thinking that I could drink wine, and I couldn't, you know. Anyways, oops. That's a whole other story. But anyways, so he's taking me out for fancy dinners, and within about a week, we're starting to play around, and you know, he's getting to first and second base and all that stuff, and but I'm kind of putting him off, and then he wants to take me to this romantic place. It's down in Washington State, and it's springtime. All the tulips are out. There's just like miles and miles of tulips. It must be what Holland looks like in the spring. It's an absolute gorgeous getaway type of thing. And there's like these vineyards by the sea and all this stuff, and this huge B&B house that he rented and stuff. So we went down there, and oh my God, it was like I was so effed up about not telling him my skinny, and he was already talking about marriage. Like he was talking about engagement stuff and everything, already like sizing my fingers and shit like that. And I was like going, oh my God, I gotta tell this guy. And so we had this romantic dinner and everything, and he was drinking wine, and I was like I was holding on by my fingernails and thinking, oh my God, this would be so much easier if I was drunk, but I can't drink, you know. But because that's the way that I handled everything back then, you know. So we ended up sleeping together for the first time. I was really freaked out, because if you've had SRS, and I don't know how they do it now, but it's like there is only a limit to what you can do, if you know what I mean. And so I was always hoping that, you know, whoever I was with wouldn't be something that, let's say, I couldn't handle. Let's just say it like that. And luckily he wasn't. He was like 6'3", and it was like one of those like kind of anomaly things. So I was going, okay, this is fine. So just lay back, think of England, and it was done, right? And I was so wrapped up in my fear and everything, and because it's new and all that, and that I really couldn't get into it. And my Catholic schoolgirl guilt was coming out. I was like, oh my God, it's like I'm Satan. I'm allowing him to live without him knowing and stuff, and all this crazy stuff that goes in your head. And to each their own, you know, everybody's got their ways that they deal with it with SRS, or telling them or whatever. And like I said, like I honestly to God, my almost 4 years on YouTube, and I thought I'd never not told a man about my situation before we got seriously involved. My last 2 husbands I told right away. So anyways, we're driving back to Vancouver, and it was just feeling really weird, and he could tell that something was off, and he's going, you can tell me. And you know, he was working with Tony Robbins and doing all this stuff, like he was like trying to be the Canadian version of it. This is back in the 90s, so you can Google him if you want, but it's like, I don't know what will come up. But anyways, but part of me, I think, I wasn't really into him anyway. I could feel that there was kind of like, I just really couldn't get a pulse on him, like in the sense, or a connection with him in the heart. But I was trying to make that happen, because oh my God, he could save me from having to work in retail. It's like, oh, I could be married. It's like all this stuff, like all of that, the old hoe shit was coming in my head again, right? So luckily, you know, I have that ace up my sleeve. Sometimes feels like a blessing, sometimes a curse, but I had to tell him. So I told him. I told him as we were driving home, and he just got really silent. He just got really silent. And this is my new kitty. Sorry, I'm shifting gears. This is Soul. He's 4 months old because I lost my kitty in November. My 15-year-old kitty, Suka, and this is Soul, and he's 14 weeks. Yeah, I love him. I love him. Anyways. Okay, so that's good. I needed to break that up because it was intense. I told him, and then all of a sudden you could feel this wah, 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 you know? But the weird thing is that, like I said, I wasn't even really into it. I could feel it. Like today, it's like I would just, or, you know, last 10 years, 12 years, whatever, I would say, you know, this doesn't feel quite right. You know, you're a nice guy. Thanks, and just leave it. But you know, I still felt like I needed to be with him because I was so wanting to be with somebody, you know, and I think, you know, we all want to be loved, you know, and be, you know, free from our suffering or our loneliness and stuff. You know, we're all the same in wanting that, right? So, so who can blame me? I was like in my early 30s, right? I was, yeah, all that stuff. So poor little Marty type of thing. And I know early 30s is adult, but you know, when you're on the street since you're 15 and you're just learning how to, and you just had 5 years of recovery, learning all that stuff that you didn't learn as a child, you know, you're pretty needy and pretty grasping, and you'll settle for stuff. And you know, and it took me a while to figure out not to settle. You know, it took me 2 more husbands, you know, after Simon, right? And now I'm with somebody that I feel really good about being with, that I love and I respect. But okay, back to Simon. So anyways, I told him. It got really quiet in the car. He dropped me off at my condo, and I remember Sade's last album. I don't know, she probably had an album since then. I was playing it over and over and over again, and I took 3 days off work, and it's like he still hadn't called me, and I felt so weird about it. And it's like, you know, this guy wanted to freaking marry me and all this stuff, and all of a sudden he's like didn't want me, and it was like, oh my God, it's like, you know, and you just feel sick because all of a sudden they're looking at you different, right? Just because you told them the truth. And so anyways, I remember just laying on the couch. I can't remember the songs, but I just kept playing it over and over again. I was crying, you know, calling my friends, and, you know, and then my friends started getting sick about hearing about it, so I was just kind of left with myself. And then he calls, and he's like, you know, I want to try and see if this can work, you know, and everything. And he's kind of like you can basically tell there's fear in his voice and stuff. And so all of a sudden I'm feeling weird about it. And so, but I accept it. And we end up going out for dinner or coffee. I can't really remember. But all I remember is that it wasn't the same after that. Like I felt, and it could just be me projecting, but I doubt it, because, you know, he was really kind of looking at me like, you know, in a way you can kind of see that whenever he was kind of talking and stuff. And all of the marriage and stuff, you know, things were, you know, not talked about, like the future stuff. And then it was, you just started to realize that you were probably just going to end up being a hookup, you know. So anyways, I did not let that carry on for too much longer, but of course I had to make it all like drama and ugly and stuff, and, you know, tell him that it wasn't going to work. And then he would like call me, you know, he'd be calling me every, like, you know, couple days and checking in on me. And then it's like and then I would see him again, and then he would act weird, you know, and it was just this back and forth weirdness. And so yeah, it's really strange, because I did tell him that I was transgender. I used to say, a woman of a transgender experience. I even said it way back then, because that word transgender just started to be coined a lot more. So yeah, I ended up just letting it fizzle out, and I think I actually really dodged a bullet, because if I would have just been, a regular, um, born with one installed type of thing, I would have probably, and had the history that I did, like being on, being a survivor of the stroll and stuff, and I probably would have been one of those miserable women that lived in the fancy places in the British properties in Vancouver, is really rich and stuff. And I used to have friends there that I thought, oh my God, you may as well have been escorts, because they couldn't stand their husband, but they're just there for the money type of thing, right? So anyways, I dodged a bullet. So that's my story about telling somebody that didn't know I was trans, that I was trans after I had my hoo-ha, right? So I don't think it really makes a difference. They still kind of look at you weird. I know that when I was pre-op, when I told them or they found out, it was a different vibe of a guy completely. So, but in 1990, 7, 8, when this happened, 9, we were quite the anomaly. The internet was just basically starting to happen and stuff. And so anyways, it's really your own choice. It's everybody's own journey. This is not telling you what to do if you're new. For me, I know that once I decided that I was not going to sport date anymore, I wasn't going to let anybody play with my heart or play with my hoo-ha unless they were serious. And my last 2 husbands, we did not even enter the bed chamber until we were married. And it was so great to reclaim that, because I told them my story and I said I wanted to reclaim that, and they really supported that, which was really cool. So I guess that comes with getting older and stuff, because I was 45 when I married my husband before Graham. 10 years I learned a lot to not settle, because I did sport date a bit after that, with men that knew my skinny, that I told them, or they'd known from other people. But they're usually hip, slick, and cool, and in bands and stuff. But you could kind of feel that, they wouldn't take you home to mother, But again, that was back in, early 2000s when I gave up that stuff, gave up those men, and would only be with somebody that was in the light, that was of like-minded spirit. For me, it was somebody that was into Buddhism and into yoga, meditation, all that stuff. Because if somebody is really seriously into that stuff, the deeper teachings in yoga, talk about the male-female energy and how we have to balance each other and stuff. And so the likelihood of somebody being attracted to you that come from that kind of vibe, they usually can handle it. Or if they can't, they'll let you go, immediately, but will still be friends with you. So anyways, just another life lesson that I wanted to share that I've had to go through. And so please leave comments. Tell me about your journey, what has happened with you. Anyways, come join on Sundays live at 5 p.m. Pacific time for my Beyond Trans with Marty Pants weekly video podcast. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here. So it was fun to actually do a video and just talk to this camera. And to you, Cyber Universe, sending you blessings. Remember to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Send me some likes. Send me some subscription. And I love you. I love you. I do. I'm so grateful for this channel. I'm so grateful with the people that I've met, all the people that I've been able to share on my channel. And here's to another year of fun stuff that we can share with each other to help each other learn and grow and stay teachable. Because I know that you, my subscribers and people that share in the comments about their journees, and call me out when my wordage isn't right for the current verbiage or wordage that's being used with the whole trans experience now. I've learned so much from you, and I want to thank you for that too. Okay, love you guys. You take care. And again, remember to like and subscribe. Turn on those notification bells, then you'll know when I throw up a video like this and about SRS decades past, or just being transgender, you know, for 40 plus years on this earth. So a lot of stories percolate up to the consciousness, and then some of them I feel very drawn to sharing with you. So, oh my God, this is 28 minutes. You'll never watch this long. I love you. Bye.